thought of any nature is further classified, and therefore, based on our investigation, we say that certain thought is religious, certain is political, certain economic, other is social thought, legal thought, and literary and cultural thought. Next please. When we say religious thought, then it means that we are making an effort to understand relation between the finite and the infinite. Human beings are finite. The world we live in is finite, but the Creator is infinite. His wisdom is beyond any capacity we can measure. Then creator and creation, knowledge of ultimate truth, it could be theological, historical, spiritual in its nature, but all that falls in the category of religious thought. Next please. When we deal with political institutions, particularly governance, particularly how power is shared, when there is a king or there is a president or the prime minister, then although he is at the top of authority, but does he share that power with others? Does he share power with the parliament, with his cabinet, with any group of consultants, or he is just by himself everything? Therefore, political thought refers to institutions, legislature, executive, judiciary and security, and all these, when we go in their detail, constitute political thought. Next please. When we talk about economic thought, it relates with means of production, distribution, investment, natural resources, even human resources. Without human resource, you cannot have any economic development. Creation of wealth, how wealth is created, how is it distributed, what's quality of life of people, how do we measure a society economically developed or backward. All these areas are covered in economic thought. Next please. Social thought relates with human society and human being itself. It deals with social institutions, with law, with family, with gender relations, social values and norms. All these aspects are covered under social thought. Next please. When we say legal thought, then we mean that we are talking about what is philosophical source of law. Is law based on just some observations or some principles? Therefore, legal thought is divided in two areas. One is legal thought or jurisprudence, and the other law as such. Law means codified law. Jurisprudence means how we make that law. What is the basis of that? Legal systems are based on philosophical notions, and similarly administration of justice is based on certain concepts, at the same time certain institutions which discharge this responsibility. Next please. When we say literary and cultural thought, then it refers to language as it is used, what is the communication medium, what concepts are communicated through that language, what are customs and traditions which are covered or provided details in literature. If you read a novel where you have a story of a family, then it tells you how a son or a daughter is talking with her mother or father or brother, with strangers, how human relations are developing, how elders are treated, are they given respect or no respect. All those values are reflected in literature. Therefore, if you read novel, if you read poetry, if you read prose, everywhere there are concepts, there are philosophies which are being presented. So, the way of life of a people can be very easily discerned or discovered when we study literature of an age. For example, if you find in literature whether it is poetry or prose, there is mention of music, mention of drinking, then you can easily conclude that this kind of activity was liked or was common in that culture, which means they did not consider liquor or music or dancing as haram, but they thought it is just for enjoyment, and that reflects to their purpose and way of life and way of thinking of everything. So, a way of people and their purpose of life can be understood if we just go in details about literary and cultural thought.